Hey everybody, it's your brother Zen bringing you messages of love from above. And today's video, of course, which you saw by the title down below, is the full moon alert for this full moon coming up on January 28th, which is going to be a full moon in Leo. And I'm living in Pacific time, so it's going to be around 12:16 p.m. just afternoon. In our time, so whatever time zone you're in, you can kind of adjust to that and see when the full moon is going to be at its, fullest. Of course, usually it's well known or said among astrologers, we feel the effects like 3 days before and 3 days after a full moon. I start dreaming crazy, weird, really clear dreams, usually like a whole week before. So that's why I thought I would go ahead and put out a full moon alert video. Usually I put out a post, just like a social media post, but I thought, why not do the video? Because then you can start focusing on it and be aware of it and see what message you have and kind of take that and think about it, between now and when the full moon actually hits as well. So there you go. This reading, I'm going to do just a 2-pick-a-card reading, and the reason I felt led to do that this time is because you're going to have a choice between the new moon in Leo and the full moon in Leo, which is the one that's coming up. And the reason why I felt the creator wanted me to mention that is because there's this focus on cycles. The new moon, of course, is when it starts off very dark and then it moves to being, very bright, and then it goes back. It's always in movement of more light, less light, more light, less light. It's the ebb and flow of life. And one of the amazing things that happens is that in addition to just that monthly, full moon cycle, there's a cycle that happens with the zodiac sign that the moon actually falls in as well. So what that mean by that is, so the last new moon in Leo was back on August 18th, August 19th, depending on where you're at in the world, when the new moon was in Leo. So that's when this cycle, it's like a 6-month cycle for the Leo sign for the moon starts. So at that point, if you look back around August 18th and see what type of things were going on in my life, if you journal, go check out your journal around that time. If you don't, then I've heard, go look at your photos that you took around that time on your phone, or what text messages or emails, things like that, what was going on around your life. And then you'll see as it comes to the full moon, that's when those seeds that were planted, or that new event that happened, or the new relationship that started, or the new job that started, or whatever event or circumstance was that started, the full moon in Leo is when you're going to see completion of things, or the ending and new beginning with those things. Maybe think of it like a plant that grew and then it had flowers, and then you cut off those flowers and then it grows more flowers. What's the next thing it's going to grow? That's the cycle that can happen with that kind of full moon cycle too. So I find that's really interesting. So, that's why it was like, here's, you have a choice of choosing the new moon for your card reading or the full moon for the card reading, or, who am I to say you can't listen to both, because you might have messages that come through for both for that period of time and give you some insight onto what was going on with that, and then maybe what is happening now and kind of the trend that might be going forward. So you can kind of look at that. These cards here are from this Moonology deck, which is a really cool deck. And with any deck that I use, I will have links. I mentioned which cards I use down in the description box below. And I also have links on where you can get those if you're interested in them too. There's like a little link that I have, and I just get a small little kind of commission on those that get sold on Amazon. I just want to be upfront with that. So it doesn't change the cost to you at all. They just give me a little bit for referring you over to there. So that's pretty cool. So those are those. What's really cool is in the little book when it talks about the full moon, is it starts off asking a question. Have you been letting your pride become an obstacle? Which, I know it's very difficult for that not to happen, especially in the climate in the United States where, you can be easily polarized into political sides, either being, on one side, and I kind of look at it like any kind of sports, there's going to be a game, there's going to be a winner and a loser, and only one side's going to be happy about that usually. So that's, kind of where that pride comes in of, do you wish the other side good game, or do you brag, hey, we won? That never really usually goes well whenever that happens. And it happens every 4 years. There's always a winner or a loser every 4 years in elections in the United States. And there's always one side that's not happy about it. And I've been on both sides, and I've been on both parties. And now I'm independent, which is a peaceful place for me to be, because I just didn't like that feeling of being us against them. Now it's just what do I feel is best for myself and the people of the United States. I don't marry myself to a particular party just for the sake of a party anymore. Just because it didn't agree with me. And I don't, everyone makes their own choices, but that's where that pride can come in. And with this full moon, it talks about it's a time to release pride. I love that it talks about the Leo energy is all about the heart. And when you combine the Leo energy of the heart with the full moon energy, it's like, it could be a little bit over the top. And so it mentions something you can do with all that energy is pour it into loving thoughts for the people of, the world, the people of our community. And so, with all this energy that's building up, it's like focus that energy into the heart and, instead of the fists is kind of what it gets at. I also love it mentions, have you been treating others as you would have it done unto you? So like the golden rule, do unto others as you wish it would be done unto you. And it mentions, to really question that, look at that, examine yourself, and then find that balance between your own needs and the needs of those around you. So I thought that was really cool, just a extra message just about the full moon in general coming up even before we get into the reading for either one of these cards here. The other thing I wanted to mention, because we're on the subject of the moon, is one of the interesting things I've been doing is really looking at the kind of the fluctuations of the moon and how the moon every couple of days goes into different signs and how that influences us. We're made up of so much water, in our physical bodies. So, how the moon impacts the ebb and flow of our tides, it also impacts the ebb and flow of our emotions. And as I mentioned about, not only does that impact us as it, goes through its different phases, whatever sign it is in also influences us in those areas. So I've been doing I found this wonderful lady, her name is Jenny Florence, and she has this wonderful book, which again, I'll link down in the description box below, but it's really cool because it'll tell you by day what moon it is in for our time zone in our area. And then up front in the book, it tells a lot about the different phases and stuff. But one of the things I look at every day is, what that moon brings in as far as characteristics. And it's funny how when you start journaling and tracking it, which gives you space to do that in there, that you realize, oh my God, that's really true. Looking back, like, oh yeah, yesterday I didn't even realize we went into that sign, and you're like, oh wow, I was, extra focused on getting things done, and that was different from the day before where it wasn't a sign of, be still and rest. And then the next day it went, so it's really, really cool. So I thought I would mention that as well, because I've been finding that really, really interesting. But so enough of all that. We'll go ahead and I'll jump into our readings here. There, of course, will be timestamps in the description box below if you wanted just to jump to the full moon reading if you just chose that card. But I'm going to go ahead and start with the new moon. All right, if you chose the new moon card, then this is the reading for you here. And the bottom of this card says, confidence is your key to success. So, as I mentioned, the last new moon happened was around August 18th. So that would have been the time where you were starting new things, something new was coming into your life, new situations, new relationships, a new job, blah, 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 all those new seeds being planted and new things. So it would have been that time that you had the opportunity to kind of make a leap, like a lion leaps, to jump in to get something started. So we'll go ahead and pull some cards and just see what messages we have for that. I'm going to start off here with the White Light Oracle, which is cool, is the full moon that's coming up is called the Wolf Moon. So how fitting. We have the little wolfie here. So we'll start off here. Before we get started, I just want to thank our Creator for their unconditional love for us. We do thank you, Creator, and we invite you to be here bringing your messages of love for whatever we need to hear at this point in our life for our highest love vibrational experience. And we invite all our angels and guides and loved ones, all those unconditional love beings on the other side, just to help bring clarity and clear love messages. We appreciate you. All right. What messages about the new moon cycle that's ending here? What do we need to know about what has changed? What's for our best information here? Okay. All right, and you got, that's Bestet, I think is the way you pronounce it there. I just love these drawings. And that's 174 hertz, card number 13. And let's see what message we have for that here. There we go. So the starting message says, you've been moving so fast for so long that you're not realizing how wound up you've become. Gently unwind now, to drop into a deeper, slower healing rhythm, and you will restore your body, mind, and soul. Things which seem too difficult right now shall soon seem very manageable and even pleasurable to accomplish. Very nice. So that really fits into that new moon, right? Everything you've been working on, and it's coming to a climax now where maybe you've been putting so much work in and been so busy with it. Now's the time to kind of take a deep breath, take a step back, rest, see what you've accomplished, what you've done, and do you want to alter your course in some way based on looking back over the last 6 months for whatever situation was arising back around August 18th. It goes on to say, the Egyptian cat-headed goddess of dance, festivals, birth, healing, and sacred potions is known as Bestet. Her sacred cult was one of beauty, pleasure, and enjoyment. Worshipping her was not about ignoring the problems that are part of being alive. In fact, just as cats can see in the dark and are natural and skillful hunters, Bestet was often called upon for psychic protection from hidden negativities and to secure one's life force and enhance one's vitality. In her role as healer and creatrix of magical healing potions and sacred perfumes, she integrates healing with pleasure, relaxation, and essential connection to the physical world of nature. including beautiful natural oils and jewels made with precious and semi-precious stones. Bastet shows us how to slow down and smell the roses whilst applying their perfumed oil to our bodies and breathing in their high-frequency scent to protect and soothe the heart. She is the guardian of and guide into the sumptuous feminine paradise that brings healing, a willingness to connect to the earth and body, and a capacity to experience sacred healing playfulness, exuberance, and natural states of joy. The healing frequency of 174 Hz is known as the pain-relieving frequency. A natural anesthetic, it is a musical version of the similar low-frequency purring of a cat. The cat's purr is considered medically therapeutic, as is 174 Hz. This frequency creates an experience of grounding and slowing down and evokes deep healing for body and mind, providing love and peace to organs and tissues, strengthening your bones and your soul. The Oracle of Bastet of 174 Hz, which is this card, asks you to slow down and take some time to heal, rest, relax, and enjoy your life. Then you can more effortlessly be a source of positive energy. We deal with issues far more effectively from a place of peace and relaxation than from stress. If you're interested in exploring any of the sacred arts of pleasure, including music, sound, food, touch, and massage, healing play, dance, celebration and art, color therapy, or healing with crystals and oils, this oracle encourages you to do so. Such avenues are authentic and helpful for your soul healing. If you've been too hard on yourself, which is our normal state of affairs, isn't it? It's time to be kind. Question and heal any guilt or shame which have prevented you from enjoying the natural pleasures of your body. You're encouraged to enjoy life. Your delight can be a source of positive energy for yourself and others too. This life is a gift, and Bastet of 174 Hz reminds us that when we are moving too fast, we will miss out on much, including being present for and sharing ourselves with our loved ones. If an issue has been troubling you, this oracle brings guidance that there is an approach available that can reduce suffering and increase your feelings of happiness. Open your heart to the divine feminine for guidance and inspiration. Bastet is a portent of joy and celebration. Believe in the happiness and healing your heart can create and attract. Wow, that is beautiful. And I love all the mentions of the heart, because that's what we're talking about. You know, Leo has a very energy of love about it. So great message for, especially if you've been working and overworking and stressing out, trying to make whatever this situation happen. I love the message of, you know, sit back and relax and take a load off for a little bit. Next, I'm going to pull a card here from the Animal Spirit Oracle. Let's see what additional messages we might have. All right, what additional message do you have for those that chose the new moon in Leo, please? Oh, there we go. I love it. The hummingbird. Talk about speed, right? Let's see what message comes with the hummingbird. I know a lot of times it's, you know, the hummingbird is all about, it doesn't seem like it's moving fast, but it is zipping on. So the words that relate to this in the book that comes with it is positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. The sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When the hummingbird is in balance, it's smart, curious, and loves to learn. When out of balance, we can be pushy, insistent, and sharp. It says to bring into balance, take a class. I love that there's so much in this card that I mentioned in here too about rejuvenation, right? In that there is usually involved, there's like a sacred elixir. It talked about creativity and about different things that you can do just to balance yourself and to get in connection with yourself there. And so it mentioned here too, nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. And it says take a class, so, but don't take a class in a way that it's like, okay, I have to take this because, I need to do this. I have to study. Instead, let it be something, whether it be a painting class or some sort of way that you're like excited to do it, right? Something you're excited to learn about, something that brings you joy and calmness, not something that you're like, oh my God, this is going to be crazy. I have to take this class and I'm not going to be able to do it. Don't make it something that's going to bring stress. Let it bring something that brings you joy. Right, and I'm going to move these just to the side over here. And I'm going to pull a few cards here from the Light Seers Tarot, which let me show you what that looks like in case you want to see if you like these. I just love these cards. Just the pictures on them. Let's see what additional messages we have. All right. What additional messages do we have? Those that chose the new moon, please. Okay, any other messages? And we'll do one more pass here. Okay. So the first card that came through here, this is the Ten of Pentacles. Yep, Ten of Pentacles. What I love about this card, this is like not just like a wish fulfillment card, but what it mentions for this is like it's leaving a legacy. It's not only that, some like one of the Pentacle cards, I believe it's the Nine of Pentacles. It's one of the one right before this one, or maybe the one before that. But it's about the fulfillment of what you wanted for yourself, and you feel fruitful, and you're getting the things that you wanted. But this goes way beyond that. That it even not only do you do so well, that it benefits people around you, and it will benefit like for generations to come. So there's things that you're doing, getting in tune with those things that bring you joy when you express those things to the world. If those are the things that were planted on what I want to do with my life, what I want to share with the world, just know that when you do it out of your own joy, like I was talking about, taking a class and stuff, when you do it out of joy and out of love, then you're going to see things that just benefit people to come for generations, the things that you share. When we do it out of expectations and we do it out of, oh God, it's what I'm supposed to do, there's no joy in it. People are not going to be attracted to that either. And it's just going to wither, One of the things that popped in my head was the scripture that talks about, you could have all these gifts and have all this stuff, but if there is not love, then it's just, a noisy, tingly brass cymbal just making noise. It doesn't bring anything, because without love, it's nothing. And then, of course, you got the Lover's card. So what I love about this one is, of course, it could be about romance, and it could bring about, individuals coming into your life too. It doesn't have to be, romantical. It can just have, special friends that come into your life that are just so supportive, and you feel like you've known each other forever. But what I love for me lately, this has been the connection between the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, the creator of all things, and developing that relationship between like me and them, between you and your creator, the relationship, that personal relationship you have with the creator. I was just talking with my brother the other day, and we were talking about, religion is kind of like man's ego trying to make the sense and control our spirituality, when I love organized religion, and I would never say we need to do away with it, because that is like the party that you get introduced to the creator. A lot of times we may not even be aware there's a creator if we're going about our daily lives and didn't have some sort of organized religion at least saying, hey, there's something more, right? And so I always say it's like a party you go to and people are telling you, hey, you should meet this person because they're really cool, but just be aware this is how they are and this is what they do and da-da-da-da-da. And like, okay, and you go over and you meet them, which is the creator. You go over and meet them and you're like, you know what, you're nothing like they were telling me you were, but it's because you're developing your own relationship with the creator. But if you have these preconceived ideas of who the creator is supposed to be, then you don't give the creator a chance to develop that personal relationship with you. So that's also an additional message for this card as well. All right. And then lastly, today, I'm going to pick one of these cards here, the Power Thoughts card by Louise Hay. And I thought, Leo moon. I know, I can be corny. I'm allowed. I'm an Aquarius. So I'll pull one of those cards here just for your final message. At least I didn't do Tony the Tiger, right? I know he's a tiger, not a lion, but All right, what's the final message for those that chose the new moon in Leo card, please? For the culmination of this cycle, what? Here we go. This one's sticking out here. I'll show you both sides of that here, and then I'll read it out. I listen with love to my body's messages. That's great. I mean, how perfect, right? Listen to your body. Your body's telling you to rest. Your body's telling you to relax. Those things that, this card talked about things that bring you joy and that make you feel good. Still need to listen to your body. And I love the back. It says, my body is always working toward optimum health. My body wants to be whole and healthy. I cooperate and become healthy, whole, and complete. And this is good. Louise Hay does really good about daily affirmations. So even if you feel that resonates, I'll put it up here too a little longer in case you want to. Let me do it to where you can, my fingers aren't in the way. That way, if you want to take a picture of that, you can. Just read that every day for a while. I cooperate and become healthy, whole, and complete. Love it. Right. Well, I do hope that this resonated with you. My wish for everyone is always that these messages of love that come from above help you, turn inward to find that unconditional love within your heart, so that you can remember who you really are, that higher, powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. And that in waking up to that, we do, connect and remember that connection we have with the creator of all things who does love us unconditionally. If you did like this video, I do always appreciate, the likes and any support that you give to the channel. You can also support the channel by subscribing. That does help it appear on other people's suggested videos on YouTube, which helps these messages get out to more people. Also, if you click subscribe and click the little alarm icon, then you get notified when I upload my next video, which I normally upload usually about 2 per week or so, depending on what's going on in the world and the astrology and the moons and all sorts of fun stuff. So I do definitely appreciate you. I wish you all the love and joy and peace that you can handle, and you take care. I love you. All right, and if you chose the card reading number 2, which is the full moon in Leo, then this is the message for you. I'm going to start off with pulling an oracle card from this deck, which is the White Light Oracle. And I chose it not realizing until I was looking at the details of the moon later that this is actually the wolf moon coming up as well. So how perfectly fitting it is. So we'll go ahead and start shuffling, but before I do that, I'd just like to thank the Creator for your unconditional love, and we thank you for bringing these love messages to us. We also invite you and all our angels and guides and loved ones who've passed to the other side, our ancestors, just all those unconditional love beings that are on the other side rooting for us, and just to invite you all to come be with us and bring clear messages of love for us. All right. All right, and what message do you have for us for those that chose the full moon in Leo card, please? And though this is for the full moon coming up on the 28th, these are also timeless readings, of course, whenever you come across them. This could be for you at that time in your life, too. All right. Just going to show you that there. And this is the Beatitude of Sacred Rapture, card number 29. So we'll see what messages come out for that one here. If you just watched the new moon, the first card reading, the Lovers came out, which this totally reminds me of that. Let me just grab that really quick because it just kind of reminds me of that there. So in addition to whatever message comes through in the book, I really feel it's the Creator just reiterating to us how, because Leo does have that energy of love, the Lovers, of course, comes through. But the focus on that love energy, that love essence that we get from our Creator, in developing that relationship with, with our Creator. I a lot of times call, the Creator the mother and father of all things. The Divine Mother, Divine Father, the Creator encompasses it all, of course, because we're made in the image of the Creator, right? Both male and female. So, of course, it's all encompassed within the Creator as well. And you might jump back and listen to the first reading as well, kind of getting that message here. But because that also talks about becoming connected with who you really are inside, right? With that we are these powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made of unconditional love. And when we connect with the Creator, not only do we realize the love we have for ourselves, but the love we have for the Creator and what the Creator has for us. We get bits and pieces of being able to comprehend the unconditional love the Creator has for us. And I love the scripture that always says, love our Creator with all our hearts, all our soul, and all our body, and love our neighbors as we love ourselves. Love, 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 love. So The book here talks about, so the Beatitude, okay, so it says, let your true self be seen. Search for the deeper spiritual purpose and opportunity for healing beneath conflict and suffering. If you've been in pain, this oracle brings a message of a joyful breakthrough. Your soul is growing stronger, more able to have faith in wisdom than in judgment or doubt. Commit to your spiritual path and know you are making progress, even if things seem more difficult for a time. Know that any such difficulty is part of your healing and that you will successfully move through it. Trust yourself. Beautiful. I love that because it really fits into what we were talking about with the full moon at the beginning about focusing, treating others as you would have them do to you. And I love, because it talks about the judgment in here and the pain and the suffering and all of that kind of stuff, which, as I mentioned in the beginning, especially here in the United States, we have so much of that judgment of each other going on between political parties and, people accusing people of doing things, other people accusing the others of doing things, and all that doesn't bring peace. All that brings is pain and suffering, right? But with this moon, and it's talking about watching our pride and taking kind of that step back, and am I treating others as I wish to be treated? Does a divine being act that way? No, a fear-based human, fear ego, acts that way. And so it's allowing us to really get in connection with who am I really, and is that really the way I want to be acting? Does that make me feel good? No, it makes me feel miserable. I want to go back to that place of having this, like it says, a joyful breakthrough. So trust the real you, not the who you think you're supposed to be. And then it goes on to say, to feel that you are fully seen, loved, and recognized for who you are, honor your true self. To be witnessed in such a state, truly be held in all of your uniqueness, your quirkiness, your vulnerability and strength is deeply empowering. This is how Spirit sees you. So when you connect with Spirit, you learn to love yourself and others unconditionally and become generous with your forgiveness. You are also less likely to be hoodwinked by ego. You start to see yourself and others at the soul level. Okay, yeah. So I love affirmation of what I was just saying. Beautiful. When we are beheld, the need to behold arises. We need to bear witness to the sacred, to acknowledge what is true, which means cutting through the fog of illusion, deception, and confusion with the clarifying knife of higher perception. There is quantum power in pure vision. It empowers the viewer and also that which is viewed. Seen from a position of inner spiritual truth, we look below the surface, which has alchemical potency to set healing in motion. What vision of yourself or others do you either cling to or free yourself from? How might your choice either encourage or impede soul awakening? When life is tough, you can admire the courage it takes to grow. There is a compliment inherent in being allotted life challenges. If something big has shown up on someone's path, then the universe is basically saying that they are enough of a spiritual badass to deal with it. I love it. It's a vote of divine confidence. If you or another are battling something, you can choose to feel awe and respect rather than fear and despair. Rapture is a state of intensely pleasurable joy that lifts one into communion with the sublime and the sacred. It is not only a personal experience, but also a transfusion of divine delight into the collective soul of humanity. This is the kind of joy that is generous, soulful, without reason or agenda, and delightfully contagious. It is a wake-up call. It shifts any stubborn clinging to negativity. It refreshes the soul and nourishes the heart. It reminds us that everything is okay. Rapture is the astonishment, the sudden intake of breath in response to an inner realization of something beautiful and beyond description. It tears us out of our misery and despair and plugs us into an electrical current of enlightenment. The darkness is cleared in an instant. A beatitude is a blessing, the highest blessing. The oracle of the Beatitude of Sacred Rapture, which is this card, brings guidance that the beautiful healing truth of spirit is your reality. All else is a nightmarish misuse of imagination by the ego. When you sense spirit at work in your life, totally trustworthy and having your back, you are seeing clearly. When your hopeful heart feels empowered, you are in a zone of truth. Trust in those moments. Recall them whenever you can. Count all your positive moments and wins, no matter how inconsequential they may appear. Every one of them is a precious drop of divine nectar nourishing your heart. Allow yourself to see and be seen. And remember that even in the tremors, trials, and tribulations of human life, you are a radiant soul who is growing ever more luminous through the wisdom, compassion, and strength distilled through those experiences. Look for the light beneath all phenomena, and you shall know the peace and love that is with all beings, always. Wow, I just love that. I mean, it is just so perfect, like everything that we were talking about, you know. When that fear ego kicks in, we're dragged out into the storm and we're not seeing clearly through the heart. We're seeing through the fight or flight of the fear ego. Defend, attack, run. That's all that is. And if that's what we're feeling, we know we're not in the heart. We're out in the fear. And I love how it says, you know, that's the healing is coming back to the heart and seeing things through that spirit of love, through God's love, through the Creator's essence, through the Holy Spirit, you know, how whatever your organized religion or how you personally call it, that Creator's love is powerful. All right. Next, I'm going to pull a card here from the Animal Spirit Oracle. See what additional message we have. I just love that that card is so in tune with what we talked about at the beginning about what the full moon in Leo brings. All right, what additional message we have for those that chose the full moon in Leo card, please? Just make it obvious for us. We like obvious, clear messages. That one is calling our name. We got dragon. I'll look that up there. I love dragons, especially Chinese dragons, because if you watched some of my previous videos in the Orient, the like the Chinese Oriental dragon is known as a supernatural, kind of like an angel. So it's an angelic messenger of the Creator, this being that helps us search after higher wisdom, like I was talking about in there. So the dragon says, seeing's one most true self, balancing the ego. You just can't make that up, right? I mean, it's exactly what this card was talking about. So I love the dragon sees everything. Its essence has been with us since before our first breath and will be there at our last. It watches us navigate the external world as well as our inner world. When dragon energy is awakened, we are courageous, visionary, and can easily drop into witness consciousness. It is almost as if we are traveling with a great friend inside of ourselves. When we look in the mirror, deep into our eyes, we may even glimpse the self behind the self, the one who is watching us. This is the power of the dragon, breathing transformative fire into every cell of our bodies. Witnessing this omnipotent energy, even for a brief moment, help us surrender and let go. Surrender and let go. We let the dragon guide us. We hop on its back for a ride, and as we traverse even the most difficult terrain, the dragon's eyes see beauty everywhere. It is said that if a yogi does not see beauty in the world, their Agni is dim. Agni is described as inner fire or sacred intelligence. I may pronounce that wrong too. It's AGNI, just in case. It says, may even just the mention of the dragon stir the embers of intelligence within you. And I want to show you the picture there too. I just feel like when there's darkness, even just one little match being struck sheds so much light. So even in all the, what we may perceive as dark times, it's the perfect opportunity to become a light, right? Okay, I think that is it for that one there. Next, I'm just going to put these over here out of the way. And I'm just going to pull a few cards from this light Sears or tarot deck. And if you missed it in the beginning, any cards I use, anything I use in my readings, I do put in the description box below with links to where you can get any of it if you are interested and you love them. I just love this deck. Love the energy of it, but just the visuals are very, I just connect with them. All right, and what additional messages do we have for those that chose the Leo full moon? Okay, any others? And is there any others? Okay, nope, that's going to be it. So the first card is the Knight of Wands. What I love about this card, Wands is all about, like magic. It's magic, it's motivation, it's that the fire in your belly to do things, when there's something that you just love to do and you just put all yourself into it. And what I love is it's like this wild horse. There's so much energy that it's like it's almost too much. You ever have I just have this picture of a little kid who's hyped up on so much candy, and you walk in the room and they're like, hi, just so much energy. You're just like, oh my God, it's almost overwhelming. But this card is just, bringing that in, that you have this fire in your belly. And it's funny that, the fire is kind of like right there in the drum. You just have this fire to do things. And what I love is we talked about in the beginning about, how this full moon when Leo is about love energy, right? But with the combination of the full moon, it just makes it go, blah. That kind of is represented by this. You have so much that you just feel filling you up, that what you can do with that is put it towards loving thoughts and loving actions to the outside world. Because, all the emotions we all have impact others in the planet. There's almost like this huge collective sea of emotional energy that's created by everyone's feelings. It impacts ourselves. Our own emotions impact ourselves, but it impacts the whole collective feel of the entire planet, right? So with everything that's been going on with, diseases and wars and battles and, political stuff, everything has been going on over this last year. There's so much fear and so much of those fear-based emotions that go in there that now's an opportunity for us to be that, like I had that little picture of that little light, that match, be, one of those that's putting love into that field of energy. And that's when we see change in the world. Trying to force people to change, hasn't really worked at all ever for very long on this plane of existence. But giving love is what allows people to find the love within. And when people's hearts change, that's when there's change, permanent change, right? And then you have the Emperor, which is like the divine father energy in there, because the Emperor is kind of representative. If in the tarot, it's almost like the combination of all four of the kings, and they have the ability to not only think, with their mind, they also have the wands, so they have that. The magic, they have the ability to make things happen in the physical world, which is the pentacles, and then of course the cups, which is the emotions and love. You can just look at him. He's got his kakapupu together. He's not concerned. He understands how everything works. He's the king. And so what I feel this card is for, because the lion is king of the jungle, is just to remember that you are in charge of your world. So how he's sitting on, it looks like a planet, right? He's sitting in his own world. He rules his world. He understands that no matter what happens outside of him, he gets to decide what it means for him. And that's the same thing with us. No matter what's going on in the world, we get to decide what it means about us, about others in the world. So if we don't like how we're feeling, then we look inside ourselves to go, why, what am I believing that is making me feel this way? And then we question those things and we return to that, to the true self, like we talked about, that connection to the creator, that higher viewpoint, and then we start to see things more clearly. All right, and then lastly, I'm going to pull a card here from the Power Thought cards from Louise Hay. Because I thought Leo, the Leo, Louise. I know. Thank you for laughing at me or with me. Either one I'm okay with. Oh, that didn't work out too well. Let me try that again. Right, and one more time. There we go. All right, what's the final message for those that chose the full moon in Leo card, please? All right. I accept my uniqueness. And I'll show you this and I'll read it here. I love Louise Hay because she does good affirmation. So if this resonates with you, then I would say it every day between now and the full moon, or however long you feel you can benefit from it. But I love that I accept my uniqueness, because this is all about finding your true self, right? There is no competition and no comparison, for we are all different and meant to be that way. I am special and wonderful. I love myself. And I love that, because too, with everything we've been talking about treating others as we would wish to be treated, we don't like it when other people try to force us into a box. And so we can definitely relate and understand that other people don't like us to try to put them in a box. We instead can love and accept ourselves and stop trying to compete with others for love and find that inner love within us. Because when we find that inner love within us, then we don't need anything from the outside. We don't have to defend and become defensive about anything on the outside, because we have everything we need on the inside. Everything else is just extra, and we just go with the flow, and we learn to love each other's uniqueness. We don't have expectations on ourselves. We don't have expectations on others. So we start looking at what we appreciate in other people, what we appreciate in ourselves, instead of where am I lacking in being acceptable? Where are they lacking in being lovable and acceptable? So I definitely love this, because everything that I do is with the wish that it will return you to that place inside you where you realize who you really are, and you find that unconditional love inside you. You remember that you are a powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit being made of unconditional love. And in that, you return to understanding that connection that you have with the creator of all things. We have this veil that comes over us when we're born here to forget that connection, so we can experience what it might feel like to feel separated when we're never ever separated. But we like to feel it until that veil gets lifted and we remember who we really are. And then we can live in this life with that awareness. In the beginning, it is that ebb and flow between, I forgot, the veil fell back over my head for a minute. I got drawn out into the storm. And then we remember who we are, and we come back and go, oh, yeah, no, a divine being doesn't need to do those things. I'm a divine being. I have everything I need inside me. And it changes everything. That higher viewpoint. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it did bring you a little bit of peace today. If you did enjoy this, I do always love and appreciate any support you give to my channel. So if you like the video, liking it or sharing the video or subscribing to my channel, any of those things help out my channel. It helps spread the message of love out there to the world. And if you do subscribe, if you click on the little alarm bell, it does tell you when I put out another video, which I generally do about 2 a week, depending on what's going on in the spirit world and what I'm, inspired to do. So if you do any of that, I definitely appreciate it. But I do wish you all the love and all the joy and all the peace that you can handle. And just know that I love you, and you take care. I'll see you next time.